What's up, everybody? Thanks for coming. Obviously, big week for us coming up with 2 home games here. Sam, La Tech, both teams obviously that are probably similar to us in the sense that they've had some ups and downs this year after having, maybe picked to finish near the top. So obviously we've seen them both before. We got a good win down at Sam a couple weeks ago. I would think they're coming off 2 straight wins, so I would think that they'll have a juice and a fire to them. So got to make sure we have our best effort here on Thursday, and then obviously an opportunity to play La Tech on Saturday, a team that's very, very talented and had some ups and downs throughout the year. So big week back here at home. Obviously hoping for a couple great crowds. I know the weather is a little shaky this week. But obviously it's very, very important for us to keep playing better basketball and hopefully get a couple wins.
Just looking at that first matchup against them, you guys did a pretty decent job against Wilkerson, who's kind of the guy that makes them go a little bit, top 3-point shooter in the league. What did you do well against him, and how do you duplicate that?
Yeah, he's and obviously last week when they're winning some games, I think he was player of the week. I don't know, scored 29 a game or something like that. So he seems to be the key. He was obviously their lead dog a year ago too, so we're very familiar with him. Kind of a 2-guard maybe, so he doesn't bring the ball up a whole lot, will from time to time, but man, if you can limit touches, they run a lot of quick hitters for him, bring him off a lot of flare screens, a lot of down screens, so if you can be in the passing lane and pressure him out, I just think he's got to be the focal point of everything that we do. So we did a good job at that down there. I'm sure they'll have new wrinkles and ways to get him the ball and get him touches in his spots. So we just got to make sure we don't lose the focus on him. Even if a couple of our guys get some baskets here and there, we can't release the pressure from denying him his spots.
Coach, you guys had a really good offensive rebounding effort on Saturday. 21, which is season high for you guys, producing 19 second chance points. Off that, how do you kind of improve on that for this upcoming week and take advantage of those opportunities?
Yeah, offensive rebounding is a tough one because if you're making a lot of shots, you don't get a lot of offensive rebounds. But unfortunately, if you're missing shots, there's a lot of opportunities. So I don't know that we want to have more than 21 offensive rebounds. I guess I'd rather shoot a better percentage from the floor. At the same time, if you're not going to, then getting the rebound and that is the second way to score. So we need to be a consistently better offensive rebounding team than we have been all year. In our win at Sam, it was a big part of what we did as well. Braxton Bayless had a couple big plays, big rebounds. Leroy and Blaze did a good job. We kept, it kind of got us going. We were struggling to score a little bit in the first half. Offensive rebounding got us going, and then I think we played a cleaner second half, putting the ball in the basket. So, especially if we're going to miss shots, you do want to battle, and I think we showed some fight and some toughness and some instinct, and no doubt if we're gonna shoot a lower percentage, man, you want to be able to clean a bunch of those up. If we can get about 1 out of every 3, I think that'd be a pretty good rate. So got to continue to try to do that.
Coach, I know you gave a lot of credit to MTSU on Saturday for the way that they played, but what have you really seen from this league this year and just how competitive everybody is?
Well, yeah, I mean every game is a battle, and every game is a physical battle. Nobody backs down from anybody. I don't think there's any team that takes the floor believing that they're not going to win. I think it's, you start hearing it, but I guess by this time, in Huntsville, it's wide open. And it probably is. If you played a tournament of the 10 teams in our league this year, I don't know if you get all 10 different results, but you would get a lot of different results if you did it 10 times. So, I think every game you play, is a challenge. Sam Houston was 13-3 last year, returned 2 all-league players. So if you look at their record, you can be real confused on what type of team they are. Obviously Louisiana Tech picked to win the league, returns a potential NBA front court player. Point guard is 2nd or 3rd in the country in assists. You can go through every opponent and see why they can be successful, and no doubt sometimes we got to make sure we were reminding ourselves. You look at us, we're defending conference champs. We've won at Liberty. We've gotten big wins over the course of the time that we've been together. So, 3 games ago at the turn, we're in a log jam tied for third, and obviously, we've stubbed our toe here a little bit recently. But that can happen when you play. There's going to be ebbs and flows. There's going to be ups and downs throughout the whole year. There's ups and downs through every game, and it seems like the teams that are able to withstand those and catch themselves when they're struggling, both within a game and within a run of the season, are the ones that are able to separate themselves and position themselves where they want to be in the conference.
One thing that I guess has been consistent through the last 3 games is you guys have given out plus 75 in each of those losses. Coming to this game 9th in scoring defense, I think, in the league. Sam Houston's 10th. So is it going to be kind of a shootout kind of game? What do you anticipate for that?
I have no idea. I think the tempo we play, sometimes the overall total numbers can get a little higher. Now, our defense has not been as strong the last few games for sure. The game's connected. We've been scoring. All of a sudden, offense was an issue about a month ago. We saw our defense was good. Now you focus on scoring the ball a little bit. Maybe, maybe that's part of who you play, personnel. Maybe it's the different combinations. I'm not sure, but our defense does need to improve. I thought versus middle for a stretch we were pretty good, and then the defensive rebounding was giving us some issues. So it's just a combination of everything. We're not trying to play any type of game. We're going to play our speed and with our pace and with our pressure. We got a little because Middle Tennessee has so many different weapons. I thought we got a little probably too passive in ball screen coverage, and they were able to kind of control and get some mid-range pull-ups and stuff like that. So we do need to get back to, as we're a little smaller than most people, so we do need to apply pressure and get up underneath and use our speed and our quickness to our advantage to make people uncomfortable. And I think that teams have gotten a little comfortable with the basketball the last few games. I think when we were successful versus UTEP and New Mexico State, and even at Sam the first game, we were making teams uncomfortable handling the ball. So if we can make one little change from the last couple games, I would say just get back to that pressure.
You talk about being a little smaller than other teams, but I mean, really here recently, you've seen the big guys, Blaze and Leroy, really step up and be a bigger presence offensively down underneath the basket, which, I mean, that's got to be a good thing moving forward.
Yeah. I guess when I say smaller, I'm really, sometimes we're playing 3 guards. I'm really not talking about the 5 position. Yeah. No, Blaze and Leroy, Leroy scored in some good pick and rolls. Blaze's offensive rebounding, finishing at the basket. We do need those guys to continue to be a presence. Defensively, rebounding, that should be their strengths. We need them to continue to do that. So, we've been way better when one of them is on the floor. Originally, when Baba got hurt, we went small a little bit, and then over the course, especially when we got into conference, just with the size that we see, that wasn't working. So Blaze and Leroy have been continued. They've both been. Blaze missed practice last Friday with a sickness. Leroy missed yesterday. So we got to get them both back where we can get 40 strong minutes. I thought they battled and did a good job on Saturday, but we need, it'll probably be 40 minutes a game for the two of them the rest of the way out. And I think if they can continue to rebound on both ends, continue to figure out different ways to score, I do think if we can get, 14 to 16 points combined from the two of them, that opens up what we want to do a little bit. So just need to keep making progress there.
Speaking of health and Baba there, I know it's something you hear every week, but how's their situation going, him and Hector as well?
Yeah, I really, they're rehabbing. I try to not to ask the question, just like you guys probably don't. I mean, you just, I don't know. They're both knee injuries, and obviously they both need to get healthy. I'm never just thinking, oh man, wait till a player gets back. I mean, Baba needs to be able to practice at full speed for a few days, like for a week, and he's not sprinting and jumping. He's out there shooting. It's torn MCL, Julius has a dislocated kneecap. He's moving, he's walking, he's on a trampoline, he's stuff like that. But I mean, he's still a ways away. So there's a timeline because of a season. I don't know. As we get, like I think I said after the game, as we get here to this point, Bob and I probably need to have a conversation before we put him in a game, because we're getting to the point where, there is a medical redshirt possibility, and I don't know what, it'd be his choice. He's an adult. He's a senior. He's going to walk across the stage of graduation here in a couple months, and obviously the plan was to go be a professional next year. So if he's dead set on doing that, and he can get back and play a couple, then I assume that he'd want to. If he'd want to, at this point, if just playing a couple games doesn't make the most sense, and he can get another year, and that's what he wants to do, then that's probably what we'll go with. So that's his choice, and trust me, I guess as a coach, you don't want to have that conversation before it's needed. So I understand. I wish I had clarity on it too. At the same time, I want the focus to be on rehabbing and getting back. But obviously, we're getting to the point on that one where we'll probably make a decision here soon.
Just looking at this Sam Houston team, as you said, they were picked as one of the top teams in the league this year. For you guys, I mean, it's pretty well documented that you've had some serious injury issues.
Yeah.
What do you think Sam Houston's issues have been? What has been holding them back?
They've had some issues with some players that they were planning on playing not being there too now. They're starting four-man last year, Nicholas, Damon Nicholas, I believe is his first name. Kind of a tough, do-it-all hybrid type player. He got hurt before the season. They had a big kid, Scroggins, that was there last year that played the first half of the season. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but he's been out since the conference, and it looks like they lost Finister here a couple weeks ago, Kansas State transfer. So they've had some issues with players that they probably went into the year planning on being main players that aren't there as well. So that's all part of it. At the same time, I mean, you look at their record and you say, man, they're having a bad year, but you watch every single game and you don't really see that, So there's so many of these games go right down to the end, and they've been on the wrong side of it more than the right side of it. I think the teams that are winning the league have been on, Jacksonville State has been on the right side of it, way more than the wrong side of it. We've been a little bit in the middle. I mean, so many of these games come down to last 3 or 4 minutes, and you can certainly either over hype or over downgrade a team based on a record, but man, like there's so, I mean, they lost at Liberty by 3 in overtime. We won at Liberty, but we hit a 3 late and they missed an open 3 to win the game. Like the margin for winning and losing is so small. So when we watch Sam Houston, obviously we played them once. We know that they can beat anybody. I know that they're on a 2-game winning streak. Their best player is, I think, mid-major player of the week last year in the last week in the country. So I think the key is just making sure that you give every team the rightful respect and credit that they deserve, and we treat our day-to-day preparation the same for each opponent, because I think we've learned that we can beat every opponent, and we've learned that every opponent can beat us.
Just to illustrate that too, I think you guys are about +2 in scoring margin, and they're like negative half a point or something. I mean, you guys are right there.
Yeah.
Scoring margin.
No, it's all real close. It's watching their 2 games last week. I mean, they were up 20 versus Kennesaw State at halftime, and Kennesaw took the lead with 2 minutes to go, and they were able to win. It's every game seems to be one of those. And even the game, I mean, we won by 9 down there. It was a tie game with 6 minutes to go. So it's their weekend versus Middle. I mean, 71-70, and they go on a 10-0 run there late in the game. It's just, I think the teams that are able to mentally and physically stick together and execute and not let the ups and downs of a game get you, you put yourself in a better chance to win late. But even as the season's gone on, it seems like all these conference games are getting closer and closer. And obviously, we can only control what we do, so we got to figure out how to make sure we end up on the right side of that more than not.
Now you're saying that you want to be playing your best ball whenever it comes March. It's only a couple weeks away at this point. I know you said about a month ago offense was a little struggling, and then defense was really good. Now it's kind of not necessarily been the opposite, but kind of seeing like a ebbs and flows in the other way. Just what have you really just been focusing on with the guys in order to kind of make those 2 connections?
Yeah, you probably just said it. I mean, you just try to keep getting better at both ends, and the ends are connected. I think sometimes when I think the run at the end versus Middle, we got a little quick with some shots, and all of a sudden that turns into a quick possession at the other end, or you're not back and they get an offensive rebound. So the game is connected, and I think the thing you can control is just in not letting the result, not letting the make or miss, not letting you play good defense and they make a tough shot. You can't think that, all right, we just got to go get it back. No, you just got to move on to the next play. So, obviously I think that probably in the road swing we had, I think that we were a little short on bodies, and it seemed like later in the game we struggled defensively. I thought the middle game was just a high-scoring back-and-forth game at the beginning, and then I thought we kind of locked in, but man, during that 10-0 run at the end, the game was connected. So we have not been successful when teams score 80 points against us. I mean, that's just, even though we play high-possession games, we've been at our best when we're able to irritate the opponent, and our defense then turns to offense. So definitely probably just getting back to our pressure on defense and getting back to making people uncomfortable and being resilient. That's probably been the focus here recently.
Right, as you said, you guys are still ranked tops in the league in scoring, almost, 78 a game, despite a lot of disruptions to that rotation. Who's really benefited from the extra workload, the extra minutes that's kind of helped you guys make that happen?
I mean, obviously Christian's been playing really well the last couple. I don't know what his average is I don't really look at the individual stats on totals a ton, but I know that he's been shooting the ball very well and been very efficient in scoring at the rim, and I think he's probably had the most efficient scoring stretch of his career. So he certainly stands out. Tyrone's been a little up and down, but man, when we're really good, he has games where he can get 15 to 20. So we're trying to make sure Tyrone continues to be aggressive. He's unselfish to a fault sometimes, and I know he missed some shots the other night, but man, we need him to be a consistent scoring factor for us. And Braxton Bayless has been a little bit better scoring the ball recently too. Really starting with the Sam game, I think if you look last 5 or 6, he's probably gone from 6 or 7 a game to 12 or 13 a game. So we certainly need those 3 guys to continue to be efficient and aggressive, putting the ball in the basket. All right, thanks, guys.